Lysandra stood at the edge of her kingdom's towering walls, watching the horizon as dawn stretched its golden fingers across the land she loved. She was a figure of grace and intelligence, born into the high ranks of the royal council. But driven by a vision far greater than what tradition demanded, her beauty and sharp mind had won her the admiration of the people, who often hailed her as the people's light. She dedicated herself to their welfare, making reforms that bettered the lives of the common folk. Yet deep within her heart, a spark of unyielding ambition burned, growing stronger with each success. One evening, as she wandered through the palace gardens, she encountered an oracle, a mysterious figure known for her cryptic prophecies. Lysandra, the oracle spoke in a voice as soft as silk, but as haunting as a storm. Beware the path you tread, for the flame of ambition will one day consume you. You may rise to great heights, but remember, pride will be your undoing. Lysandra brushed off the oracle's words, convinced that her intelligence and determination would outmaneuver any challenge. The prophecy, she believed, was an exaggeration, perhaps even a misjudgment of her character. In her heart, she felt destined for greatness and saw herself as the beacon that would lift the kingdom from its age-old ways. Over the years, Lysandra's influence only grew. She proposed bold policies that challenged the centuries-old customs of the court. She gained the favor of the king, who admired her tenacity and often relied on her counsel. But with each victory, her confidence grew, and soon her confidence turned into pride. She began to see herself not only as an agent of change, but as the sole authority of truth and wisdom. In her eyes, anyone who opposed her was clinging to outdated beliefs and unable to see the future as she did. When her closest friends and advisors voiced concerns, she dismissed them. A childhood friend named Calista, once her most trusted confidant, approached her with caution one evening. "Lysandra," she said gently, "you've done great things for the kingdom, but your drive for change seems to be blinding you. The people love you, but they also fear this rigidness in your vision. Perhaps we should slow down, reassess the needs of the people." Lysandra, taken aback, scoffed at Callista's suggestion. "You're letting fear cloud your judgment, Calista. The kingdom needs progress, not the comforting lies of tradition. If we hesitate, we risk losing all we've achieved." Her words, meant to be a reassurance, only drove a wedge between them. Over time, Lysandra grew increasingly distant from her friends and advisors. She trusted only her judgment and resented any hint of criticism. She surrounded herself with flatterers, those who praised her every move, leaving no room for dissenting voices. Her ambition, once noble, became relentless. She envisioned herself not just as a reformer, but as the very heart and soul of the kingdom. Her plans soon grew even more drastic. She sought to restructure the council entirely, removing older members who opposed her and placing only her loyal followers in positions of influence. She believed that the kingdom would flourish under her unchallenged rule, but the people began to see her less as a benevolent leader and more as a tyrant. One evening, a letter arrived from a neighboring noble, Leonidas, who had once been an ally. The letter offered his allegiance and promised support for her continued reforms. Unbeknownst to Lysandra, Leonidas had his own ambitions. He saw an opportunity to use her pride against her and gain control of the kingdom by pretending to be her ally. Flattered by his support, Lysandra eagerly accepted his offer, trusting him completely. As the weeks passed, Leonidas's influence grew. Under the guise of aiding her reforms, he quietly spread discontent among the council members and the people. He painted Lysandra as a power-hungry leader who would stop at nothing to control the kingdom. "A noble goal," he would say in hushed tones, "but one that blinds her to the suffering of those who serve her vision." Soon, the people's admiration turned to resentment, and whispers of rebellion grew louder. Calista, though deeply hurt by Lysandra's dismissal, attempted to warn her one final time. "Lysandra, you're blind to the danger you're in. Leonidas is using you, and the people are starting to see you as a tyrant. You must listen to reason before it's too late." But Lysandra's pride was unshakable. "I know what's best for this kingdom, Calista. Leonidas has been nothing but loyal, and if the people are discontent, it's only because they don't yet understand the greatness of my plans." Her tone was final, cutting off Callista's last attempt to save her. One fateful night, Leonidas made his move. He rallied those in the council who were disillusioned with Lysandra's rule, promising them freedom from her grip. Under the cover of darkness, a rebellion was launched. Lysandra, caught off guard, was left vulnerable. Her loyal followers were scattered, and her allies in the palace turned against her. As she stood before the angry crowd, she realized with horror that she was utterly alone. Stripped of her power, she was forced to flee, leaving behind everything she had fought for. Wandering the outskirts of her once beloved kingdom, Lysandra was haunted by the oracle's words. Pride had indeed been her downfall, blinding her to the needs and fears of the people she had vowed to protect. She finally saw that her ambition, once a force for good, had morphed into a weapon of her own destruction. In a secluded village, she lived out her days in anonymity. Though her heart ached for the kingdom she had lost, she found solace in the company of those who knew nothing of her former glory. As she tended to her small garden, she would reflect on the life lessons her fall had taught her. She realized that leadership was not a solitary endeavor, but a shared journey. It required humility, the willingness to listen, and an openness to challenge. She had failed because she had allowed her pride to overshadow the wisdom and counsel of others. She had thought herself invincible, but in doing so, she had lost sight of the very people she had once strived to serve. As the years passed, Lysandra came to terms with her tragic journey. She found peace in the simple life she now led, no longer bound by ambition, but by a quiet dedication to self-awareness and humility. She taught the villagers' children the importance of empathy, of balancing ambition with compassion, and the dangers of letting pride cloud judgment. One day, a traveler recognized her and asked, "Are you not Lysandra, the noble who once held the heart of the kingdom?" With a gentle smile, she replied, "I was once Lysandra, but now I am only a humble villager, and I have learned that true greatness lies not in power, but in understanding, not in pride, but in humility." Thus, Lysandra's life became a tale of caution for future generations, a tragic drama that underscored the timeless lesson that pride, if left unchecked, can indeed lead to ruin.